Oh, well, you ruined it. All right, time for more of Street Fight Club podcast, everybody. Now, don't be alarmed that Chad's not here. He'll be here soon, but he hasn't seen Logan yet, and we're about to just talk about all the spoilers. So what's up? I got Finest here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Street Fight Club? Is that what we do now?
Nope. We don't do that. We never will.
Oh, I thought that was a cool thing.
Well, it could be. Leave us a comment if you want us to start shouting Street Fight Club.
Yeah, so if you have not seen Logan, which I don't fucking know why you wouldn't have seen Logan yet, but if you haven't, this is going to ruin it for you, so
just keep watching.
Yeah, just watch till the very end. Save yourself $8.
Yeah.
And probably some tears.
So, Logan is based off of the Wolverine character from Marvel Comics.
Kind of. I had like an inkling of a feeling. They never like come out and really say it, but you know, I guess.
There's also Professor Xavier, who's the leader of the X-Men.
Right.
Did you know that? Anyway, so what did you think of it?
I honestly, it's probably the best X-Men movie. Before this, I think X2 was pretty high up there in my book.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But this one pretty much blows all the other ones out of the water. And I know that Deadpool started some weird trend for R-rated superhero movies, but this one deserved it. I think this one, you know, it fit the bill. Like Wolverine needed an R-rated movie.
Yeah, he really did, because here's the deal, man. He's fucking Wolverine. He's got blades coming out of his hands. He needs to be able to murder people mercilessly. Like, that's his whole thing. And it almost seems like he was a little bit neutered in everything else because he couldn't really be what he had the capability of being.
Well, it's like I was talking about X2 earlier. Like, there's that famous scene where he's the only X-Men in the X-Mansion, and the soldiers or whatever invade, and he's trying to protect the kids. He's straight up murdering people left and right, but it's like, as long as there's no blood spraying, or if we just snip away as he's cutting some dude's throat, then it's totally cool. Like, kids are just going to be like, oh, okay, well, you know, that guy's probably alive.
But that's not what people wanted to see. They wanted to see fucking Wolverine go crazy and cut people up. And that's what they delivered in Logan. So that was one of the coolest parts.
It's one of the most brutal movies I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy movies, but I think, I mean, even compared to something like John Wick, where someone's dying every 5 seconds, there's something about the claws and, like, cutting people and stabbing people that it's a more visceral, like, it hurts. Like, sometimes I was hurting whenever he was, like, stabbing people through the face. Or like he'd stab someone in the chin and you see his claws in their mouth or whatever. And
yeah, there was a lot of good. There were a lot of good chin murders there. So what did you think of the story? Now, me personally, I was not familiar with the X-23 storyline from the comic books whatsoever. So I really, you know, it didn't matter to me if there were discrepancies, but I don't know if you were familiar or not.
I didn't really care about it being discrepancies or anything either. I thought this was just because, I mean, the whole movie franchise period has not followed the comics very well. So I thought that this was a good end, pretty much the whole movie series, and kind of a start to a new one. I mean, once you get past all the really good action, it was a great story. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie so bloody and crazy action style that was also just a really good story. I mean, and it takes time for, like, some comedy bits and a lot of heartstring moments. Like, if you don't feel like you're going to well up a little bit, at least at one point during during Logan, then there's probably something wrong with you. You might be Matt Wallace.
That's Modest Matt on my channel. But yeah, man, the story was terrific, and you can have all the action and explosions and shit you want, but without a good story, then it's not going to be a good movie. You know, Michael Bay, you know, all these fucking Transformers movies are proof of that. But this one was awesome. You know, it's just like Professor Xavier's batshit crazy, at least in the beginning, and then he just he kind of comes out of it a lot. At first, he's just fucking naming off restaurants and shit. Like, he's totally just crazy. And I guess they know about, or he knows about these new mutants that were created by this lab. Is that right?
Yeah, because they've got him stuck in some sort of huge dome or like a silo or something. But apparently, because of the holes or whatever, he can still sense people outside of it. And he starts, talking to Laura or X-23 or whatever her name is. I think it's Laura, right?
Yes. And I also liked how he kept doing, or like whenever he would have a seizure or whatever they were calling it in the movie, and everybody was sort of frozen. Like, he's done that in the past movies, but not to the point where everyone's going to end up dying, basically. Just he kind of freezes people. But this, he doesn't have any more control. I didn't see the last X-Men movie. Which one was that?
Apocalypse.
Yeah, I didn't see Apocalypse, so I didn't know if something happened to him during that movie or what. But it really didn't matter. It didn't take away.
That movie's set in the 80s, so it's still like Michael Fassbender. Not Michael Fassbender. That's Magneto. James McAvoy or whatever. Like,
right.
Patrick Stewart's not in that one at all.
Oh.
But I really like the idea of, even though they have these great powers, they're growing old and they're starting to lose control of the powers. So, like, as Wolverine is losing his healing factor or whatever, the metal inside of his body is actually killing him. And that's why he's got to get drunk all the time and take pills and stuff, because he can't heal anymore. Because used to, in, like, the comics or whatever, he couldn't get drunk, like, no matter how much he drank, because his liver was constantly healing itself or whatever. And his brain was constantly healing itself. But I just like the idea of that Charles Xavier is the most powerful mutant in the world, and his powers is his brain, and his brain is fucking him. Like, in the end, like, his brain is going. And Wolverine, who's done all these evil things in his life, he doesn't have it in him to kill Charles, but he keeps him alive, even though he knows it's like it would be like having a nuclear weapon in your backyard or something.
Right, exactly. That you never know when it may or may not go off. So anyway, I also have to say the kid that they got to play X-23, brilliant. Like, I think she did a terrific job.
She did a perfect job. Well, she doesn't even talk for most of the movie, and then whenever she does talk, like, she just has like a good like body language and stuff like that. Like, you can tell what she was thinking is just by the way she was acting, and not like a comical like Disney TV show kind of a way or whatever. Yeah. But and I'm down on child actors most of the time. They can either make or break a movie.
Very true.
I think she made this one.
Yeah, and I also the first time whenever you see her start kicking ass there at that compound or whatever, it's fucking awesome. Like, great scene. I loved it. Like, all the action really was pretty good in my opinion, but that was one of the scenes where you're just like, damn, this is a really fucking cool movie.
I love the build-up when she's just sitting there with her bowl of cereal or whatever, and like, she senses the guy behind her, and she's just like, I'm just going to keep eating this. And they don't show you what happens until she comes out with a dude's head. I did not expect her to come bringing a guy's head outside.
Yeah, another cool thing, you know what I mean, from the R rating. So yeah, and then a lot of stuff happens. I didn't think there was really a weak link as far as actors in this movie. Everybody seemed like they held their own very well, and
even the dude who played the main bad guy, that dude with the cyborg arm or whatever, I would like to see him in another movie. I thought he was a great villain. Yeah, and he didn't really do much. He just kind of talked to the people.
Yeah, and kept showing up, being an asshole. Okay, so then they eventually end up out on a farm, and that's whenever hell really starts to break loose. Because and I didn't really understand, like, I didn't know where the Wolverine clone came from, X-24 or whatever. Like, whenever I first saw him, I thought, I was like fucking Professor Xavier. I thought that was Wolverine.
I was super confused as well, but I guess, like, thinking about it, that X-24 or whatever is the reason they got rid of all the little kids, because they had finally built a clone that was perfect, because it was mindless and it followed the rules. So that's why they were. I thought that was the only lame part of the whole movie, because because the rest of the movie they just kind of drop you in and you're supposed to guess what's going on.
Mhm.
But then there's a part where a nurse, perfectly films all this secret stuff on her cell phone, and then just happens to leave it for Wolverine or whatever. That was the only. I was like, well, I don't know how else you're going to get all that exposition in there, but
yeah, it was something they kind of had to do. But I agree that was a little bit ridiculous how she had like each very important thing on film on her cell phone somehow, and then
no one stopped her. Like no one was like, "What the fuck are you doing filming this?"
No one stopped her, and then somehow it's all cut together into a perfect story so that
Right.
Logan understands what's happening. But just one of those things you kind of have to do. So then X-24 murders Xavier, which is fucking crazy. Xavier's given this speech, and it's already kind of tugging at your heartstrings, and then X-24 literally tugs on Xavier's heartstrings by fucking just shoving all 3 fucking blades into his chest. And
that is extremely sad whenever Xavier's like, this is what life is, Logan. Like this is happiness, and this is what real life is supposed to be like, or whatever. And then he gets murderized
immediately after that. But it was almost surreal. Like it was just like, wow, is this really happening? And yeah, it was really happening. And crazy battle. There's a terrific fight between Logan and the Logan clone, which how they fucking made that awesome. Props to them for that. Whenever it's 2 Hugh Jackmans, one young, one old, I thought it was pretty impressive.
And the aging CGI didn't look that bad. Like there's been a lot of movies recently where they de-age someone with CGI and it looked pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But this actually looked like it was real.
Yeah, it looked spot on to me. Like I don't know, but that was great. And then of course it just goes on. The kids are running away. Logan decides to help him because he kind of gets guilt tripped into it by the Laura girl, and just. They end up winning, I guess, as much as you can, but Logan does die.
Dude, my favorite scene in the whole movie is right after they bury Xavier, and you think that Logan's going to have this humanizing moment because X-23 tries to hold his hand or whatever, and he just jerks away, and he's like, he's going to leave. But he goes to his truck, and the truck won't fucking start, and he just goes nuts, and like... does a string of curses and hits it with a shovel and stuff, busts off the window, and then passes out. Best scene in the movie.
That was a good scene. Because it's real, man. You know what I mean? Like, he just lost this dude who easily is the most important person in his life. And he's just freaking the fuck out. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame him.
So, I know that Hugh Jackman has said this is his last movie. Patrick Stewart said that this is his last movie, and great movie to go off on. But do you think this is going to start a new Mutants series of movies, or what do you think?
Honestly, it would only make sense with the extreme popularity how well Logan did. If you didn't try to build off that, then you don't like money, basically. And it's a movie studio that's making superhero movies, so I would say almost definitely, man.
And it's definitely time for Fox to go in a different direction, because Apocalypse was not the best movie in the series. It was definitely felt like they were running out of ideas and just kind of throwing shit at a wall. We're getting back to like X3 territory, and we don't want to be there again.
No, that is not a good place to be.
I mean, not as bad as that, but definitely headed in that direction.
I mean, because like you said, X2 is a fucking terrific movie, and then to follow that up with the X3, that was so sad. What were they thinking? Like, Phoenix was so underwhelming in that movie. I don't know. It was really disappointing.
And there's characters that just die off screen for no reason. Like Cyclops dies right off the bat.
Yeah, fucking what? So he could be in that Superman movie. From what I remember, that's why they had
to not as Superman.
Murder him that quick. Right, not a Superman. Just what was it, Lois's husband or something like that?
Yeah, like the guy who was having sex with Superman's lover.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, any final thoughts? Any final thoughts on Logan?
It's a great movie. Take your kids. They'll like it. No, I think it's for now. Besides the Nolan Batman movies, it's probably the pinnacle of superhero films that we have right now.
Yeah, and even then, it's arguable that it might be better than that as just a one-off. But yeah, so that's our thoughts on Logan. Let us know what you think about Logan in the comments. And Chad should be back for the next episode.
Or he's dead.
He might be dead.